In the final moments before the Beijing Games, Team Canada is fine-tuning its skills. But before competition begins, the Canadian Olympic Committee is planning for the future, announcing its support for a potential bid to bring the Games back to Vancouver, just 12 years after the 2010 Olympics.
Personally, I'm very optimistic.
Wilson Williams is a councillor with the Squamish Nation, one of 4 First Nations spearheading the push. Right now, they are trying to determine if it's feasible.
We'll actually determine the cost itself and whether it's feasible for our community and the host nations, if it's viable to move forward.
Well, I was a skeptic of the 2010 Olympic Games.
Vancouver's mayor says this time it's different, not only because of the Indigenous leadership, but also because it would be cheaper than 2010.
Well, I think there's the regular benefit of having the attention of the world on you, which is a good thing. But if this could be done without building a single new venue.
But some venues will need to be updated and refurbished. It's also unclear where the athletes would stay, now that the Olympic Village is condos.
I think the IOC would get very excited about a bid that talked about repurposing, because that's where their heads are at now. And so that, that's not going to be free, but it's not going to be the same as building new again.
Vancouverites enjoying the city's unwinter-like weather today had mixed reactions.
I think there was a lot of pushback in the 2010 Olympics, but when it came, I think people around here really did enjoy it.
I feel like the Olympics end up prioritizing kind of a concentration of wealth.
Before moving forward, any potential bid would need sign-off from the city, the province, and Ottawa. A decision on whether to put a formal bid before the IOC is expected this fall. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, Vancouver.
Well, let's bring in someone who knows a lot about Olympic bids. Dave Doherty has been part of 2 successful bids, including Vancouver 2010. So what is your sense of Vancouver's chances of hosting the 2030 Games?
I think we have a very good chance, Ian. When I look at the international arena, the consensus is that the competition will be Sapporo, Japan. So 2 cities that have hosted the Games. However, Vancouver has hosted them much more recently. Our venues are more up to date. And I believe that there's a great chance that because the most recent Olympic Games have all been in Asia, talking about Pyeongchang, Tokyo, and Beijing, it's unlikely that the 2030 Games will go back to Asia. So if it's between Sapporo and Vancouver, we have more modern facilities, and at the same time, the Games have not been to North America, well, I guess since 2010.
So long before it gets to the IOC, a lot of other things have to happen, including getting support here in Vancouver. What's your suggestion to the bid organizers in terms of gauging support here?
We need to lock it down. We need to have a consensus amongst British Columbians, Vancouverites, and Canadians if we want this. Because the mistake I think we made in 2010 is the referendum was held way too late. And when we look internationally, many cities don't get their act together and never really have a consensus at the people's level as they go into the process of bidding. So let's make sure we want it, because there's a good chance that we will win it if we go forward. Look what happened in Los Angeles and Paris. They were both competing for the 2024 Games, and the IOC awarded them each the Games. So what if only one other city steps up against Vancouver? And if we put our hat in the ring, so we have a good chance at this.
All right, Dave, really nice getting your insights. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian.